Good morning and welcome to the Closers Cafe, Wednesday morning, December 3rd. Running a little behind, but better late than never. And I've got, I think, a very useful and tactical topic for everyone today that I want to spend a little bit of time on. It'll be a shorter session today, and I'll get into why when as I cover some housekeeping items for everyone. And I have some resources to share for those who are interested as well. Just you can DM me or text me. My number is on the screen for the resources or the resource that I will be sharing with you all. Some housekeeping items. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to get everything live here. There we go. Now I can get that live. A couple of housekeeping items. Relatively short session this morning for a couple of reasons. Number one, I have a full schedule. Number two, the mastermind today at 11 a.m. Eastern, so a couple of hours from now. I've got a special guest coming on. The topic is unlocking your potential as an investor agent. Unlocking your potential as an investor agent. My guest is Matt Gardner. Matt is a very successful agent. He's got a wonderful short story to share, and just an inspiring guy. And so he was gracious enough to agree to come on as a guest for our mastermind. You can join us at growwithjosh.com/MM. growwithjosh.com/MM for mastermind. That's our Zoom room. Every week, 11 a.m. Eastern, we get together and mastermind different topics, different guests, etc. A little bit more intimate than these live streams tend to be. And then one other housekeeping item before I get into today's topic. If you haven't already, you should register for the free workshop, the free training that I am hosting Friday at noon, onedealaweek.com, onedealaweek.com. The more I am working on the presentation, the more excited I am to share it with you all. I've been working on the presentation. I was working on it last night. I was working on it this morning. It's kind of running through my brain, and I've got a lot of really cool stuff to share. And the topic is 3 simple steps to close one deal a week every week. And I'm going to share how I'm doing that in my business, how you can do it without a big ad budget, without doing a bunch of silly TikTok-y style videos, and without having to work a bunch of nights and weekends. So you can get family time back, etc. And so I'm really excited to share that. You can register absolutely free, onedealaweek.com. That'll be a Zoom webinar. Today's topic are email hacks for real estate agents like us to increase open rate, deliverability, and ultimately create more conversations. All conversion happens in conversation. And the Closers Cafe is about getting more conversations so we can write more contracts and have more closings. I have, since September 1st, and this is part of my evidence for why the 3 simple steps that I'll share on Friday is working. Since September 1st, I've closed 15 transactions. I've taken 7 new listings, and I have 6 more transactions, 7 more as of yesterday in escrow. I have 3 settlements next week. Okay. One Monday, one Tuesday, one Wednesday, I think. Yeah, the 10th, 11th, and 12th. And the more that comes from having more conversations. Okay. And so specifically today, I want to focus on how you can have more conversations with email as the channel, and some simple things you can do to increase your open rates, to increase your deliverability, and therefore create more conversations. I'll also talk about strategy. So some of this is technical, and I also want to dig into a little bit of strategy as well. And here's one of the reasons why I think this is a relevant topic. If you don't know, email is still one of the most profitable channels that exists for business. In fact, if you look it up, you'll see that it's projected that anywhere from 35 to 1 to 40 to 1 ROI on email, meaning for every $1 spent on email marketing, it turns into anywhere from $35 to $45 essentially. And with us in the business we're in, one client can mean a significant sum of money, right? So why not, embrace some simple things that you can do to increase your email deliverability, okay? So I'm going to share my screen here. If you're watching the TikTok live and you want to see my screen, you can come over to Josh Shanley Coaching on YouTube. And do me a huge favor. We've got a nice little crowd here. Give me a thumbs up on the video if you're excited for this topic and you want to learn how to get more of your emails into your potential client's inbox. Give me a thumbs up there. And of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and smash the bell so you're notified of these new live sessions. So I want to start with some simple best practices. I have talked a number of times on here about sending a deal of the week email. Every single week, sending an email to your entire email database featuring your deal of the week. In fact, it's not loading up here. Let me see if I can grab the one that I have scheduled to go out later this afternoon. Here it is. Actually, know what I'm going to show last week's. Here was the email. My deal of the week email sent last week. The subject line, in quotes, bank-owned deal of the week in Central PA for first name, personalizing the email, and then the date that I sent that out. The body. Here's our Central PA bank-owned deal of the week. First name. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath, single-family home on just under an acre in Duncannon. Single-story ranch home with nearly 1,400 square feet, oversized 2-car garage. A great place for someone seeking both privacy and convenience. Could make a great flip, or perfect for a handyman looking to create some sweat equity. Recently price reduced, now under $200K. Who do you know that might be interested? Just hit reply and I'll get you all the details. Happy Thanksgiving, because I sent that on Wednesday. My first name, then my full signature file, and then a PS. The PS, right now there are 30 bank-owned foreclosures for sale here in the 717. Would you like me to send you the complete list? Now, what do you notice in this email? What do you notice about this email that might be different than the typical real estate templated newsletters or emails that you might be sending? What is different about this email? I would love to hear in the chat. What do you notice that is different than what, I get lots of other realtor emails or emails from real estate agents. What is different about that email that might make it more likely to be delivered to the inbox? And everybody's being shy this morning, so I'm going to answer my own question. Here's what's different. Here are a couple of things that are different. Number one, there are no links. No links in the email. No links in the email. Number two, there are no images in the email. No links, no images. Number three, for someone to get more information, they have to reply to the email. When someone replies to my email, that sends a signal to the ISP, to the internet service providers, that my emails are safe, that my emails are, people are, want my emails. So there's no links. There are no images. That increases deliverability. And we have, specifically asking for them to reply, and 2 different ways to reply. Who do you know that might be interested? Just hit reply and I'll get you all the details. And then the PS. The PS, right now there are 30 bank-owned foreclosures for sale here in the 717. Would you like me to send you the complete list? So I'm giving 2 reasons or 2 options for them to reply. When they reply, that is a signal to the ISP that increases my deliverability. Now, I'm not suggesting that every email you send should have no links. And in fact, there is a case study from on my channel from last week about an email text email sequence that I used 2 weeks ago, it's a campaign that I run every single month. And 2 weeks ago, I guess it's 3 weeks ago now, I took 2 new listings from that sequence: email, text, email. The original, the email number 1, has a link in it, and it's specifically designed to get them to click. Now, the second email, the email that's the money email, there are no links, there are no images, etc. Okay. All we're trying to do here is create an opportunity for a conversation. All conversion happens in conversation. And I think too often we try to convert a client directly from email. And that is, it's foolish. It's a waste of time. All conversion happens in conversation. Okay. So this is a real world example of a type of email that works really, really well to create more conversations for you from your email database. Now, I want to share some very specific best practices, things to keep in mind when sending your emails. Number 1, 0 to 1 is the hardest, meaning if you've never sent a deal of the week email, the first one will be the hardest. After that, they will be easier. Will they always be easy? No. There will be times where you will struggle with what bullet points do I want to include? Which property do I want to feature as my deal of the week? All of that stuff. But 0 to 1 is always the hardest in anything. All right. Number 2, ideally, you should send this email late in the morning on Wednesday. There is an overwhelming amount of data and evidence that email open rates from business to consumer, we're a business sending to consumers, open rates are highest for those types of emails Wednesday, late morning, or early afternoon. So either right before lunch or right after lunch. So like between 10 and 11:30 and between 1 and 2:30. Now, the caveat to that, I will say, is that sending any email is better than not sending something. So don't let perfect get in the way of just taking action, okay? So if you can, and if possible, that is optimal or ideal, but any time is better than no time. And I will also say that the next best 2 days and times would be Tuesday and Thursday, same windows. Tuesday and Thursday, same windows, late morning, early afternoon. So either Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, late morning, early afternoon. Those are optimal times for sending your emails if you want to get them opened and if you want to get or create conversation opportunities. Okay. The third tip on here. So number 1, 0 to 1 is the hardest. Okay. Doing the first one is the hardest. Number 2, ideally send your emails, your broadcast emails, your one-to-many emails, ideally Wednesday, late morning, early afternoon, or alternatively, any Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, late morning, early afternoon. Number 3, vary the subject lines. Make them personal and date them in some way. Okay. I think it's important to make them feel and look relevant and timely. Relevant and timely. They're not some canned message or templated type of communication. And so having their name in the email is one way of doing that. Another way, and this is a strategy that is included in that case study that I mentioned, where it was an email, text, email sequence that I used and I use every month in my business. That last month, it is last month at this time because it was in November, turned into 2 new listings for me. In that case, the subject line had their property address. That's very personal, right? And that is relevant to them, and that increases the likelihood that they open the email. So, I mean, here, this is very basic, but I think sometimes the simple blocking and tackling concepts can make the biggest difference. If your email doesn't get delivered, it can't be opened, right? And if you don't create curiosity in the subject line, it won't get opened. So we got to get it delivered, and we have to use the subject line to create enough curiosity to get them to open it. Now, I will also make the case that as long as it gets delivered to their inbox, it's a good thing because they're seeing your name and that you're still in the industry, right? So as long as it's delivered, that's a win on some level. But ultimately, we want to get them to open it, and we want to create a conversation opportunity. Okay. Number four on my list here of additional notes. This is if I'm sending an email that does have links. Okay. Now, the deal of the week email, I never include a link and I never include an image. Never. Okay. But if I am sending an email that has links, I will mix them up. But this is number 5. This is way more important. Don't ever include more than 3 different domains in your email, and ideally 1. Here's what I mean by that. If your signature block has a link to your Facebook page or profile, and your Instagram profile, and your YouTube channel, and your website, and I don't know, something else, a link to get a home value, you are drastically lowering your deliverability. One link. Okay. And for me, if I want to share all of that information and allow people to connect with me, that one link for me is joshvips.com. It's like my link tree page. So this one URL, they can save my contact, they can check out my different social profiles, and they can schedule. Okay. So think strategically, how can I create the opportunities to connect with people and let them, find me on social, etc., without having to have a bunch of different links. So definitely no more than 3 domains, and ideally no more than 1. And if you're following my deal of the week process, that email shouldn't have any links in it. No links whatsoever. If you're sending a link, another great strategy is using, because the majority of, I don't know what the exact numbers are, but I would say the majority of people receiving your email, more than 50%, are Gmail addresses. And if you can use a native Google property, that will help. So if you want to, if you want to send a video, send the YouTube link to the video, because that's a Google-owned property. If you want to send like a detailed breakdown of something, of a specific property, if you send it as a Google Drive link or a Google Doc, that will help the deliverability. Okay. Number 6. This is a simple one, but you cannot be using a Gmail, a Yahoo, a Hotmail, an AOL, or any of those types of email addresses as your sending address. Again, this is kind of, I would say that this is email marketing 101, but I still see people doing it. It will definitely, some platforms won't even allow you to do it anymore. They won't even allow you to send a one-to-many email with your Gmail address or your Yahoo or your Hotmail or your AOL. But it's definitely not best practices. And what I have up on my screen here, if you're watching on the TikTok live and you want to see my screen, if you pop over to Josh Shanley Coaching, what I have on my screen here is in bold trail under your profile, your contact info. You want to have both the sending email and the reply to email. You want them to both be the same, and you want them to be business domains. In my case, I'm using my EXP email. josh.shanley@exprealty.com is both my sending and reply to domain. And I would check that whatever platform you're using, if you're using Bold Trail, if you're using Lofty, if you're using Wise Agent, if you're using Sierra Interactive, if you're using FUB, Follow Up Boss, if you're using Realty Juggler, whatever, make sure that you check your email sending details like this to make sure that those match up, and to make sure that you are using that you're using a business domain. Okay, a business domain. You can use a G Suite, or many of you have a business domain with the company that you're with, the brokerage that you're with. Okay. And the 7th thing on this list here that I put is just keep it simple. Better to send something versus waiting to send until everything is perfect. I mean, that's kind of simple. And I would say that goes for email or a text blast or a social media post, etc. Right? Perfect is the enemy of good, or something like that. I don't know what the cliche is, but you get the idea. Okay, you get the idea. So I gave you one example. I'm showing one example here. This is my deal of the week template. There's no links, there's no images, etc. But since I mentioned it a few times, I will show I'll bring up here the email that I sent that was part of the case study. This is a campaign that I run every single month. I send it to all of the contacts in my database, in my bold trail, that I have their email and their primary address. In other words, they own a home and I have their email address. I send an email, text, email. Obviously, I only send a text if I have their cell phone and they're subscribed to text. So for some of them, many of them actually, 2/3 of those contacts, they only get the 2 emails, and it still works like crazy. So let me show you an example of what that email looks like that does have a link in it. But it just has one link. It's just the same link repeated. So I don't know why it looks jacked up here. It does not look like this in the inbox. But for some reason in the preview window here, this is how it looks. And maybe if I have a minute, I'll show what it actually looks like in my inbox. The subject line in this case was just the street address, Now, I could have also done RE : street address. That would have worked great as a subject line as well. And then the email, let me actually bring up, I want to show what this actually looks like in the recipient's inbox, because I think that is more relevant. So let me find, this should have gone to me as well. Let me see what that one looked like in my inbox here. When was that email sent? Bear with me here. I should have pulled this up. Here it is, I think. Yes. Okay. So this is what this looks like in the recipient's inbox. All right. So the subject line is the address. And then at the top of the email, I have the full address again. And then this is my content here. Now I'm playing with different ways to format this, but the big takeaway is, notice a couple of best practices here. There is one link, one place that I'm sending people to who click the email. That's it. So that's one domain, one link. It is there multiple times, but it's sending people to the same place. It's the same domain. And then also notice, and this is, you should have this as a best practice on all of your emails, the PS statement. You should always include a PS statement, because there are a ton of people who look at your emails and they will immediately just go to the PS. Okay. And if not, it's the last thing they read, right? And you always want to have in your PS statement an expectation of response or an opportunity for them to respond. So this PS statement was, who do you know that might be open to entertaining offers for their property before the end of the year? Who do you know that might be open to entertaining offers for or on their property? I guess I could have worded it before the end of the year. Not too shabby. Okay. So that was step one of the campaign last month that I ran that turned into 2 listings. There's an email, or there was this initial email, a text message for those that that are subscribed. I have their cell phone and they're subscribed to text. That's designed to get more of them to go find the email and click the email. And then the money email to all of the people that click over and look at their home value dashboard in this scenario, to see who's open to selling or why they were interested in checking out that information. That campaign I run every month. I use a tool for that, which you can get more information at fastcashoffers.ai, fastcashoffers.ai. That's one way that I use that software platform to create a lot more business opportunities or client opportunities, and in this case, listing opportunities in my business. For those of you who are interested, I have a Google Drive folder here that has a number of resources specific to email, and specifically, some of them specific to the deal of the week and examples of those, and also just some email best practices. They're Google Docs that I've compiled over a number of years. If you would like access to this Google Drive folder with all of these resources, just shoot me a DM or text me at 717-571-0456. I've even included in here, this is a document. I originally put this report together in 2010, 15 years ago. Because I've been talking about and a proponent of this type of email since like 2008 or 9, because it was one of the ways that it was one of my weekly habits or activities that helped me in my very first year being licensed sell 26 homes. I was rookie of the year, and my second year sell somewhere in the mid to high 40s. I can't remember if it was 46 or 48 or 49 homes in my very second year. This activity was one of them. And this is a report. Again, I originally compiled this years ago with 4 emails over a 4-week period that turned into 4 closings. And that is one of the resources that's in this Google Drive folder that I'm happy to share with all of you. And in fact, I'm going to try to do this. I'm not going to try to do this. I'm going to share this in the comments on the live stream. But I know that depending on where you're at, you may or may not see these. So if you need the link to this, if you need a link, the link to this, just DM me or text me 717-571-0456. George, thanks for chiming in there. I'm gonna bring this bird in for a landing because I have a lot of things on my plate today, and I want to keep it short and sweet. So some housekeeping items to wrap this up. Number one, in about an hour and a half, we have our weekly Zoom mastermind. We do it every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern. It's open. You can come join us in the Zoom room. I do live stream it as well in our Facebook group, but you can join us live in the Zoom room at growwithjosh.com/mm. growwithjosh.com/mm. And then I would highly recommend, if you haven't already, grab your spot for the free training class, the workshop that I am hosting for all of you Friday at noon Eastern. 3 simple steps to close 1 deal a week every week. And you can register for free at onedealaweek.com. It's scrolling along the bottom. It's also right there. The number 1dealaweek.com. It's a Zoom webinar. You can register for free there. I'm really excited to share what I've been working on and the results, how I have been able to personally close 15 transactions since September 1st with an additional 7 new listings and 7 transactions in escrow. Now, 3 of them are closing next week, which is, that's good and bad, right? So that's wonderful that those are closing, but then I gotta fill the bucket back up, which I'm working on every day to do. But I want to share all of that with you and how you can do that, how you can close a deal a week every week without a big ad budget, without having to do a bunch of, TikTok style or Instagram reels and that kind of stuff. Now, if you want to do that stuff, that's fine. But what I'm saying is the 3-step system and plan I will outline for you, you can achieve these kind of results without having to do that and without having to work a bunch of nights and weekends so you can get some family time back. So check that out, onedealaweek.com, onedealaweek.com. I would love to help you strategize, help you get clarity around how you can get to, work on making 2026 your best year ever in real estate. And if you'd like to chat about that, just shoot me a text so we can get a time on the calendar for us to collaborate and build out a plan for you. Since I mentioned that, that's one of the things that I get most excited about doing with agents that we partner with. And in fact, I'll share this because I think I'm gonna do a deep dive on this tomorrow. This is I'm just bring this up for a second here. This is a 1-page plan that I built out for Hillary. She's one of my agent partners. She's up in New York. Let me share my screen here. And this was built after a number of conversations and collaborating to formulate her plan for the for this month and the first quarter, et cetera. That includes habits for success. In other words, her daily non-negotiables, time blocks and regular activities, and then a daily scorecard so that she can track her progress and specifically track the actions that she's taking to succeed and to fill up her pipeline. And so if you want to get together and talk about how we can build that out for you as well, just text me 717-571-0456. I hope to see a bunch of you later this morning on our Zoom Mastermind, growwithjosh.com/MM. If you haven't already done so, grab your spot for Friday at noon, onedealaweek.com. Thanks so much for spending some time this morning, and let's make it a great day.